All right, guys, we're going to be changing out the tires on this MT10. I'm going to be going through step by step. If you have any comments, questions, any tips that you guys used to make this a little easier, let me know. I do not have a full-on tire changing tool, but I do have some handheld tools that I'll go through as well in this video. So we're talking about torque specs, bolt sizes, socket sizes, any kind of tools that you may need, any stands. So this is designed to be a good reference. There's a couple of videos out there. So let's make this a team effort and let's get to it.
Come on, let's change this.
I'm using the Oxford stand. I do have spools on my rear axle. Stand it up, prop it up. Pretty easy. Must have. This you want a size 12 millimeter. So I'm gonna just loosen this guy up. You're gonna do that on both sides. Now you want a 32 millimeter socket. Okay, here we go. Awesome. Okay. All right, so I know Pitbull makes a little stand to support your tire. What I did was I just made this easy enough, space it out, cut it at an angle so I could throw that underneath there. This rear tire still has some life in it. I'm changing it out because we're going on our summer trip, track day. I'm going to take this off. I'm going to save it but I don't have enough life in it to make it through my whole summer adventure. So prop that up so it's nice and secure. We're going to loosen that guy up. Again, 32 millimeter. Take that all the way off. I'm just going to set this aside. I'm going to get a rubber mallet. We're going to hit the axle, pull it out, and we're going to drape this. We're going to drape the chain over the swing arm, and I'll show you both sides. Okay. Knock that out. Again, we got good support underneath there. Just going to pull this out. And now we're going to be pushing this forward a little bit. Just take some pressure off of the axle. We'll get to the brake side here in a second, but I'm just going to put this aside. So this side on the bottom, okay, this guy here, this is your speed sensor, tire speed sensor. So this is all plastic. So just got to be careful with that. But we can go ahead and just pull this straight back. And we'll get to that here in a second. Just going to take the chain. Just going to put it right over that swing arm. Now, if you wanted to, mine's black. I'm not too worried about the swing arm, but you could always put a little cloth underneath, protect it. So I'm going to zoom in. I'll get a different angle for you guys. There you go. So that's nice out of the way. Nothing's bothering that. So we should be able to pull this straight back. Just watch the caliper. Don't want to put too much tension on it. Okay. So here, I'm going to get my support out of the way. That's what was bothering it. Okay. Just going to lift it up, twist it a little bit so it doesn't get in the way of the caliper. So both sides, this side here with the lip goes on the sprocket side. We're going to be greasing that up here when we get a reinstall. And then on the opposite side is this guy. Just comes right out of there. All right, so this is caliper. So you can see there's a little groove that square block sits in. So it is supported some, but since we're going to have the tire off and we're going to be switching out that, I don't want to risk this plastic part down below the speed sensor to get broken because it is all plastic and I don't want extra tension on the brake lines. So I'm just going to go through, get a zip tie, something lightweight, just hold that in place. You get a bungee cord if you want. Not necessarily necessary, but for me, we're going to get that going. Okay, so I just got this little night eyes deal. Just wrap around, secure that. Again, just to protect things. So now, let's get into changing the tire out. Okay, so I just wanted to mention, every tire, if you don't know, most of you do, there's little wear marks on it. Last season, I got this down on our trip. I started to see the threads. Luckily, I was on my way out, trailered it up, pulled it back home. So just watch that. This does have a little bit of life left, enough for me to keep it. So I just wanted to point that out. All right, first step, just gonna let the air out. They have little tools for that. Okay, next step, we got the air all out of it. I'm gonna show you how to break the bead on these guys. I got some soapy water solution. We're just gonna hit that along this edge. We're gonna get both sides. It's gonna help get things going. Since we're here, again, the carpet's a must. Protects, or a soft surface, you don't want to be scratching anything. So right now we're going to be careful. I do have black wheels. The shop has already marred them up a little bit. Okay, so this one here, we're going to do first lettering up. So we're going to just wedge that in. I'm going to try to zoom in for you if you guys can't see. But okay, I'm going to wedge that in just fine. We're going to have to do that on a couple spots. So again, white part up, white lettering up. Going to squeeze together and push down. Okay, we're going to go ahead and just pushing air out of the valve. So again, I'm going to rotate so you can see that a little bit better. White lettering up, wedge that in until you hit the inside of that wheel. White part up, go ahead and squeeze together. Going to push down. Just about there, guys. Cool. Then I just went ahead and nailed around it, help break that bead a little bit more. Perfect. So you can see in the video, the bead's broken. Just get started, and like I said, you can kneel on it. I just want to show you what it looks like. All right, let's get to this other side. This isn't sitting crazy flush like the other side, but it's okay. Might actually grab a piece of wood just to support it. That's good enough. We'll try it. White lettering up. Wedge it in there as best you can, as far as you can. White lettering up. And rotate that a little bit. Fork side first. Rotate about a quarter turn or so. There you go. Pretty much, I see it. Just about. One more time, and we'll get our knees on it. Okay. Cool. So now, pretty much broke the bead. Try to get my knees on it. There we go. Perfect. So now this whole guy, the bead is broken. So now the part we need to do is get this over the rim. Okay, so I also have from Motion Pro the Rim Shield 2s. Make sure you get a good look. I got 2 of those, so that's going to hopefully help save the rim. Sometimes you might have to use a cloth, it might be easier, but we're going to give this a whirl. Like I said before, so here it's curved. You want that curved part. There you go. Kind of into the tire, and you're going to pry it out. So let's get started. Okay. Good to go. Okay. So now what I can do, since I released that a little bit, I'm going to see if I could move that down. It's not really scratching a whole lot. On the inside, there's a little rub, but really, really, really hard to tell. So when we're done, I'll show you what I did. Here we go. What kind of different marring did happen, or if it didn't. Like I said, even the shop marred mine up, which whatever. I didn't catch that. So even if you take it to the shop, there's no promise that they're going to do it perfect. We just got to check their work, keep track. Sweet. So you see it is getting a ton easier after you get that first part off. So, yeah, sweet. All right, so this is the first side. There we go, and there we go. So, show you what things look like now. You get that off. So now we're going to flip, and we got to get this side off of the other on this rim. All right, so might be hard to tell, but I'm going to hook this up on the inside of this rim here. Going to do that. All right. So you kind of see, it's probably hard to see where you're at, but this blue rim saver, I can't see it yet. All right, so this blue rim saver is right there. Hopefully you can see, yeah, probably can't see it. So we're going to get in here and get right on top of that. You're going to go, I'm going to pry that right over top. So we're going to pull that forward. There you go, there you go. Sweet, okay, so you might be able to see that now. All right, so you just have to kind of wedge this in to get that lip started. So it's not quite centered on the blue, but on the rim saver, but we're going to rim shield. But try to get this guy in here a little bit better. All right, so one thing you might want to do is reapply your soapy water. You can use Windex as well. I'm just looping it all up, just making sure that this tire can slip as easy as possible over this. Now with these tires, you should be able to just go ahead and break free. We're going to get this guy back in here. Okay, got that. Since hopefully there's enough Windex. All right, be careful, we're good. All right guys, so we're gonna put this new one on. You're gonna notice, I'm gonna scoot close to a little bit. There's a dot right here. That means it's the lightest part of the tire. You wanna line that up with your valve stem, and the valve stem that we have is right here on top. Boom. And so now you're also going to be looking at the arrow. Okay, the arrow is going to indicate which direction the tire spins. So we've got a tire, the arrow's pointing this way, so it's going to be spinning this way. Now this is going to be on the left side like this, and it needs to be spinning, of course, this way. So this is the right direction, this arrow. If you could kind of see that on here, that arrow is pointing that way. And then this dot, that's the lightest part of the tire. So we're going to line that up with the valve stem with the arrow pointing in the right direction, which right now it is. All right, so I'm going to lay this down, and we're going to be using a little rag just to make sure when we are spraying this inner bead, we don't want to get too much liquid inside, because that could throw off when we do balance it. But we just want enough where it is lubricated. So you can do that, take my fingers, lube it up a little bit. If there's some drops, no big deal. Okay, so again, that way, and this is where it needs to go. So this in here, we should be able to squeeze on just fine. Make sure it's still on the carpet. Okay. Spray that a little bit more, just so we could hopefully get around. Because again, we should be able to just, there we go. Already got part of this one in. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're just going to nail on one side, and we're going to put our rim savers inside. Again, we want to protect the finish as much as possible, and we're going to be walking our knees around. All right, let's move this up just a little bit. Yeah, if we do not want to get stuck, but again, we want to do a little bit at a time. All right, where's my, there it is. Okay, keeping my knees down. Let's move this up a little bit. Okay. Ouch. Okay. Here we go. Gotta come down. All right. Just working our way in. Okay, I'm gonna get a little bit of leverage on this side. Okay, I'm gonna keep too big of a bite. Gotta back that down a little bit. There we go. Cool. That's what we want. Keep that down. Again, what I've noticed is you may think you want to take a little bigger bite, but the smaller for sure is what you want. I'm walking my knees forward. I'm just going to pin this one down and hold that. Okay, I'm going to scoot this one up. It's pinched right now. There you go. Oop, gotta keep my knee on that. All right. Gonna get underneath. Hey. Might have to get underneath this guy. There we go. Get that back in there. Don't want to lose any progress. All right. Again, we gotta do a small bite. I just get carried away and want to do more. I'm gonna spray a little bit more in here. I know Zane, he only has to pay like 30 bucks or so a tire. They want to charge me, if I take the tire, the wheel in, they charge about $75 to change it. So I guess what's it worth to you? Are you gonna be doing more tire changes? Is it worth your time? Do you enjoy doing it? I guarantee you we'll get faster with time. But again, what's it to you? What do you want to do? I'm tempted to take a bigger bite, and I just can't do that. Again, tiny, tiny bites. It's like, you know, how do you... Same thing as like, how do you eat an elephant? How do you put a tire on your motorcycle? Too big of a bite. Let's go over here. Sweet. I think we got it, guys. Sweet. All right. Woo. Okay, now we're going to get the air compressor. We'll actually put the valve core in and then blow it up, and we should, by doing that, we should get a good seat on these beads. So let's go ahead and get that going. And put the valve stem, the core inside. And screw that in. Cool. All right, so now I gotta go get some air. We'll pump it up. Okay, so before, got my car running for the air. So before we try to seat this, I just spray it down. And hook the air up. And we should hear two big pops, like snaps. We're gonna see if we get that on film, if we could hear it. So here we go. Two big pops. Let's see what we got. Well, maybe one coming soon. I'm gonna get a mallet. I'm gonna tap it a little bit. It's still moving. It's hard to see probably, but it's sealing up still. As that pressure builds, it's going to pop and it's going to seal. I'm going to hit a couple more times. There's one. There's two. Now we're going to go ahead and pump it up while we're here. So we're going to pump this up to about 42. So we'll be right back. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and balance the tire. Now I have the Tusk precision balancing tool. I've did a little research. What I like about this one, if you can see, the base does have a little bubble, so you know that this base, no matter what you're resting it on, is going to be level. So I'm going to go ahead and level that out. You can do that by moving and twisting these feet. So we're going to do that real quick. Okay, so now we're gonna get the tire. We're gonna put that bad boy on. So this one, we just put that right through the axle. So let's go and flip to the other side. Okay, so we're just going to tighten this down so it moves freely, because you want this to be one with the tire, and you just want that axle inside the bearings to spin. So what I like about this one, it does have, I'm going to show that here, a little bit better angle. As it's spinning, you can see I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you. See if we can get that focus for you. You can watch it really close and see if it's warped or... I'm going to see if I could get a little better look on it for you. So you can see a little gap, little light gap, but you know, that's what you want. You want to be able to eye that up and see and have a reference point if anything's twisted. And of course, there's no reason for this one to be messed up. Never laid it down, never dropped it or anything like that. So all said and good there. All right guys, so I went ahead and I removed all the weights. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off with the valve stem on the bottom. Just going to see where it drops. So you can see right now this left side is dropping down. We're going to see where it goes. I do have a piece of chalk. We're going to go ahead and mark where the heavy part is. Heavy part of the tire. So wobble back and forth. So you can slow it down, you can cheat a little bit and see. Okay, it looks like the heavy part is right here towards the bottom, which we expected. Well, this is slowing down. Okay, I'm just gonna let it settle. Gotcha. So I'm gonna go ahead and just mark the very top. There you go. And I'm gonna just mark the bottom. All right. So now what we're gonna do a valve stem on the 9 o'clock, kind of for reference. We're going to see where it ends up going. So we see this heavy point is dropping down. Okay, now we're going to come over here, and then it's going up on that side, but going down. So we need to balance it out, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead on the very opposite direction of the heavy. I'm going to put a little bit of weight on my mark here. We're going to start off with 2. Then we're going to see where that takes us. So what I'm putting on here right now is the self-adhesive. I'm not going to peg it on there really tight. We're looking at 1/2 ounce. I'm going to put it somewhat close to the rim, just barely putting it on there. Then I'm going to retest. 9 o'clock spot. We're going to hold that there. Okay, get it and let go. We're going to see what it wants to do. Barely starts to drop. Okay. We're going to go here to this 3 o'clock. Had the valve stem at the 3. And it's starting to drop. Okay. So 1/2 ounce is too much. So we're going to pop that off. Still has some good stick to it. But we're going to go ahead and just try the 1. I like using Gorilla Tape over my weights, so I'm not too worried about if it's going to maintain the stick or not. I already cleaned the rim. See if it floats up or down. Staying close, there's not really any movement. here at the 3 o'clock. Then close, no movement. So I'm going to call that good. I'm going to go ahead and put some duct tape on that. Didn't take a whole lot of weight, and we'll go ahead and mount this, and we'll get you to the next step. All right, I went and cleaned it up. I put some duct tape on the weights. So we're going to go ahead and just double check. We're going to look at the 9 o'clock spot, and actually helped it. It's not as picky or not as touchy. And then over here on the 3 o'clock spot, same thing, nice and solid. So let's go ahead and mount this on the bike, and we'll be rocking and rolling. Should be semi-sturdy. Make sure your brake pads are somewhat open, because the trick is getting everything lined up so the tire can just come in here, come up and in. This is going to stay on this outside, so we're going to go ahead and give it a whirl. I got this block. First time using a block, I usually use my feet, so that's good taking it off. I'm going to use my feet to get it on. It's easier to control, but hopefully you can get that in the video. So there's that. Right. Okay, so you have to kind of pull this caliper back with the tire, with your axle. You want to kind of use your fingers to kind of guide yourself, because the speed sensors there, ABS, all the plastic things. So you want to make sure you got everything where it needs to be. Okay, I'm going to put the chain on. I got my hands full and busy, so it's kind of hard to show you that. We'll show you how to align everything in a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to get my axle on this other side. Again, apologize for the camera, lack of movement of the camera, but this here needs to go on the front side. Pretty close. Okay. Here we go. Pretty much there. Gonna keep this block under there for a little bit. I'm gonna get a little rubber mallet. Going through. Okay. All right. Okay, I'll show you what we're up against. All right, so you just need to pull the whole tire back. There we go. We just need to make sure that that guy was in there, because we could go ahead and adjust things accordingly. There we go. Perfect. We got this guy. I'm pulling that a little bit, so that's that. So now we're going to go ahead and put this out. Okay, you don't want to tighten it down all the way. I'm going to spin it right now because I want to make sure that the speed sensor's good. It's not hitting anything it's not supposed to. Looks like it's going through just fine. Now the alignment's going to be important, so we're going to just hand tighten this for now. We're gonna get the alignment tool, show you how to do that. Okay, so this here, you're gonna clamp this on, and we're going to align it. Okay, so we want to make sure that this line goes straight through and it's lined up. There you go. Okay, just right off the gate, that's not too bad. So you want to also watch the tension. That's not too loose, not too tight when you're adjusting this. You can get you could get your chain aligned, but this might be too tight. So I make sure I get some slack. So I might loosen that up just a hair. That's good. I'm going to crank this down. This does have a torque specs on this, but I'm just going to do, I don't have the tool for that. I have a torque wrench, but not for that, so that's pretty good. Okay, so here the specs, according to the manual, says it's going to be 137 foot-pounds. So we want to keep going. It's a 32 millimeter socket. So 137 foot-pounds of torque. So cool. All right, 137 foot-pounds, all set. And there you go. So you can tell it marred up a little bit. I'm gonna have to fix that. See what I can do to fix that, just so it's not like crazy noticeable. But overall, did it. Good job. You can do it. If you have any questions, comment. I'll see if I can answer. As a community, let's get together. Let's make this a little easier project. So next video, we're gonna be doing the front. So awesome, guys. Catch you later.